Oh, I love Doctor Who. I would say that most nerds do. There are a few communities that decide that Whovians are in fact way too over the top and Doctor Who is shit. But overall, I do love Doctor Who. However, in recent years, Doctor Who has come under fire a little bit, mostly because of Stephen Moffat, and the fact that he doesn't seem to know what he's doing anymore, and obviously now he's gone, Chris Chibnall's taken over, and Chris Chibnall does not look like he's going to be a good showrunner. Because if you look at, he's written 4 Doctor Who stories ever, so that's alright, I guess, but it is only 4, and they're all very samey. There was the same sort of, let's, instead of having actual decent drama, let's, put a countdown in. If we put a countdown in, everyone will be, on the edge of their seats and nervous. It's like, no.
Actually write a good story, maybe. There's an idea.
However, I am going to wait and see because, Chris Chibnall might actually be better than we thought, and it might just be that he needed to become showrunner just to make it work. There is the distinct possibility that that is all he needed. So we will have to see, in all honesty, if he is anywhere near as bad as I potentially fear he could be. However, there are a few other things that really need to change about Doctor Who to really sort of kick it into high gear. This podcast was originally supposed to be with my friend Jamie from the Whoniverse. Sorry about that, but we can't actually meet up anymore because exams and college and just fucking everything. So, But anyway, we were supposed to be doing this podcast together, so here's a little shout out for Jamie from the Whoniverse. But yes, we compiled a list of the things that we thought needed to happen. Actually, so did Duncan help. Duncan helped with some of this list as well, like Duncan from Comic-Con and Dungeons and Dragons, so yeah. But anyway, on with the list. The first thing that they need to stop doing is just leave Gallifrey and the Doctor's past more of a mystery. Because they kept adding stuff, and, Gallifrey's back now, that's great, but they need to, just stop. Leave it alone. We need the mystery. God damn it, Stephen, stop revealing shit about the mystery. That's not how you keep a mystery going! So really, they're just over-describing Gallifrey and explaining everything and getting us, to know it. And basically what I've said is, the last ever season of Doctor Who, I reckon, reveal everything. Bring back Hand of Omega, destroy Gallifrey again, have everything happen. Make it so we know the Doctor's real name. The last thing you see on, the last scene of the last episode of the last season of Doctor Who is the Doctor's name. You hear him whisper it, or her whisper it, because you never know. Might be back to females, but, it depends on how good Chris Chibnall is, because that's my main fear, is obviously Jodie Whittaker, I reckon, is going to be a damn fine Doctor. She's going to be great at it. But with Chris Chibnall being showrunner, there's entirely the possibility that he won't give her any decent stories and it'll be shit. And everyone will say, oh, see, this is what happens when you get a female Doctor. And the rest of us will be like, no, this is what happens when you have a shit showrunner. Okay, the next thing, just bring back some other villains. Because obviously they keep coming back to the same old villains, Cybermen, Daleks. And I get, it's got to deal with Terry's family to keep using the Daleks every season, otherwise they can't use them ever again. That's fair enough. They need to keep using it, but just, ugh. I think the problem that I find is they've kind of gone off the rails. Like, you look at the Daleks from Russell T Davies era, and Russell T Davies was great. Like, Stephen Moffat has really lost the plot, because Russell T Davies, I'm going to sidetrack here, Russell T Davies had a lot of good episodes, and then Stephen Moffat wrote some bloody excellent episodes. And that was a good balance. You knew every episode was going to be good, and then you'd have some excellent ones from Davies and from Moffat. Whereas when Moffat took over, it started off and every episode was really good again, and it was just the same. It was slightly different style, it was a bit darker, and that was great. The sort of slightly darker side really worked. And then it went off the rails, and now it really is just a complete coin toss as whether or not you'll have a good episode. Like, I don't know if I'm going to enjoy each episode now. I just have to watch it and see. Whereas back, sort of 9-10 era, so Davies sort of writing, you knew every episode was going to be bloody excellent. I mean, there were a couple of, little bits that sort of ground to a halt here and there. It was like, okay, that was a bad episode, but they were the exception, not the rule. The rule was you could watch Doctor Who and every episode was great. And then you had the odd exception. Like, I think a lot of people didn't like Tooth and Claw for some reason. I don't know why. I really liked Tooth and Claw. Actually, I didn't watch it until fairly recently, because obviously it came out when I was like 7-ish. I was like 6 or 7 when it came out, I think. Or potentially 8, I don't know. But I was, young enough that the trailer for it gave me nightmares, and, that was enough. And it was a case of, you're not watching that. I'm like, yeah, fair enough. Tuned in the week after that. And then I finally watched it when I got the Series 2 DVD. And it was like, okay, cool. I can watch these now. But yeah, they need to bring back some old villains, and potentially even bring in some of their own new stuff. Like the Weeping Angels are like a subject of their own. I'm going to talk about them separately because the Weeping Angels need their own section. Sort of bring back the Vashta Nerada. Definitely. Bring back the Flood. I reckon bring back the Autons because they were fucking creepy. Like, I hated shop mannequins for a good 5 years after I watched that episode. Obviously, it started off, I was actually scared of them, and then I just didn't like them. Like, they freaked me out a little bit. I mean, yeah, shop mannequins are kind of creepy, but, it was sort of stuff like, wax models and stuff. I know they were fucking creepy. And they were creepy for so goddamn long. And considering that was the first episode I ever saw, the CGI was shit. But it was so good because that made such an impression on me. And it's the sort of thing that you can bring back and you can work with. We had a whole list of monsters we wanted brought back, but Vashta Nerada, the Flood, oh yeah, that was it, the Trickster from the Sarah Jane Adventures. Fucking bring that back, totally. Also, bring back some older companions, that'd be fucking great. Bring just for one sort of school reunion, something like that. Just one episode, just bring back some old companions, that'd be great. But mostly just bring back a load of classic monsters, make some new ones as well. Stop recycling the same ones from the last 9 series. I'm going to joke here that we should totally bring back the Absorbloth because I know how much everyone hates the Absorbloth. We should totally bring back the Absorbloth. Okay, we're going to transition on to the Weeping Angels right now because they need their own section. They really do. The Weeping Angels, they're so good. They're so fucking creepy. But stop adding stuff to them, Moffat, for fuck's sake. Chibnall, if you add more stuff to the Weeping Angels, I swear to fucking God, I will lock you inside your own personal statue and then set you off in Cardiff Town Square. I'd like to point out, I don't actually know if Cardiff has a town square, but if it does, that's where you're fucking going. Now, the Weeping Angels are such a great concept. They're so good because it taps into that sort of primal feeling of if I keep my eyes on it, it can't hurt me that you have as a young child. And that's the thing. The Vashta Nerada, it's dark, it's shadows. You're scared of the dark as a child. It works because now the darkness doesn't even have to have a monster in it. The darkness is the monster. Those creepy kind of humanoid things in shop windows, they're monsters. You keep your eyes on a statue and it can't hurt you. As soon as you take your eyes off it, it can hurt you. That's that's the reason why they work so well. Every really good, scary in modern times, every good scary monster that's come out of Doctor Who has tapped into something quite primal about it. And there are the odd exception, gas mask zombies. They were freaky, but they didn't tap into anything primal, which is why they've never left any sort of long-standing impression on me. I've always thought of them as very creepy, and then when my mind imagines, what monster is down the bottom of my bed in the dark when I'm, 6 years old, that's one of the options, just because I've watched Doctor Who. Is an option, but it's not what I'm scared of. What I'm scared of is the possibility of what's in the darkness. You bring the Vashta Nerada. If you shown 6-year-old me the fact that shadows can eat you, I would have been fucking terrified. But then adding all the stuff to the Weeping Angels, the whole, anything that has the image of an angel becomes an angel. It's just so overdone. I think the only thing that I would allow you to add on to the Weeping Angels, retcon all that, anything that has the image of an angel becomes an angel, retcon that. The only thing I would allow you to add on to them is, the fan theory that the Weeping Angels are in fact Time Lords. That's fucking great. I would take that so much. Oh yeah, we're also thinking, Next, or like a really good companion to have would be like an alien or a robot, because obviously every single companion really so far pretty much has been human. Give us like an alien companion, that'd be so cool. The dynamic would be so different. Because I get the whole thing of, the Doctor has a special place in his heart for Earth because we're so young and innocent and blah, 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 blah. And there's so much potential, yada, yada, yada. Can I vomit any more inside my mask? But giving him, I don't know, like a Silurian or something that's like, because I do like the Silurians. I know a lot of people don't seem to. I think because the episode always takes the same sort of turn of, have the Silurians and the humans hate each other, and then, the Doctor comes in and mediates, and the Silurians go back to sleep. Blah. It's boring, it's lame, change the story structure up a little bit. But I think the Silurians are inherently a very cool race. And you really do need to bring them back, because obviously you have the whole Victorian London Detective Agency thing with, the Silurian, I can't remember her name. I really can't. I should be able to remember her name, but, you got her, so the Silurians have had some character development, but you need to bring them back either as a threat. They either need to be the monster hiding under the bed, or they need to be the friend to the Doctor. Those are the two options that you have at this point. Don't just have them there. Same with the Sontarans. Too much comic relief. Like, I love him. I love Strax, but he's ruining Sontarans. Sontarans are a very real, genuine threat, and you forget this. But then you think back to, Series 4, and you say, well, what was it, planets made for breeding Sontarans. That's really warlike. Like, if you could have that sort of initial reaction whenever you saw Sontarans, instead of, ha, Strax is funny. Comedian. Huh. If you could have the reaction of, oh fuck, they could actually wipe all of us out, rather than, hey, tell us a joke, Potato Man. It would probably just be better. I think a lot of people have picked up on it, but the way Moffat worked was quite sort of formulaic as well. You could watch him, because what he tended to do was he would have, individual stories, and he had breadcrumb throughout the entire series until, the finale, which when all the breadcrumbs revealed themselves, blah. And that was great, the whole cracks in the wall being the TARDIS, but it became not predictable because you were never sure what the breadcrumbs were fully leading to. But it became very formulaic, so, they'd have this one little thing, it's like, that's going to keep cropping up. And invariably it would. And I think that's what Chris Chibnall's going to be good for, because in theory he won't breadcrumb, because he hasn't had the opportunity to do that as showrunner. Alternatively, he could, have talked to Moffat, he could have looked at the way Moffat ran it and said, okay, that's great, that's how you do Doctor Who. To which he would be very wrong, because
Stephen Moffat
has now almost killed Doctor Who. It's almost, he's just ruined it for so many people, utterly ridiculous. So hopefully Chris Chibnall won't make the same mistakes as, Moffat, but at the same time, I don't think he'll try and learn from Russell T Davies, which is the best person to really learn from, really. When you look at how Russell T Davies handled Doctor Who, he created some... It wasn't the scariest episodes or the best episodes, because that was really down to Moffat most of the time. But he created the most consistently great episodes. Now, a little side note, I am going to mention Bill, because I know a lot of people absolutely hated the fact that, she was a lesbian and she never let you forget it. And I will grant you that there was a little bit too much of that, but everyone seems to sort of say, it was her only defining character trait. And it's well, yes and no. Because, it's the sort of thing, you look at it, and, everyone's complaint is, she was trying to, hook up with every fucking attractive female that she saw. It's you realize that's what Captain Jack was doing, as well as trying to hook up with the Doctor as well. That's all Captain Jack Harkness ever did. Which actually I'm having real issues, because I've been rewatching Arrow, I'm having real issues seeing John Barrowman as Captain Jack at the moment, because all I can see is Malcolm Merlin. But anyway, yeah, people forget that that's exactly what Captain Jack was like. He was hooking up with, how was it, Alonzo and this and that and Rose, and, he'd occasionally flirt with Mickey and the Doctor. He would fucking flirt with anyone. It's exactly the same as what Bill did. So, you know, it's not really... I'm trying to find a way of articulating it. It's not really as bad as everyone says. I think it was mostly just because, obviously, that meant that they had to remind you that she was a lesbian, and everyone was like, oh, you know exactly what they're going to do. This BBC at the moment, they're going for equality and everything. They're just going to constantly remind you that she's lesbian. Everyone was expecting that, so that's what everyone saw. Now, I will fully admit that maybe Bill as a character wasn't as well handled, and she definitely did need a second season. That's what I will. A lot of people didn't like her, but I say she needed a second season. Definitely 100%. Because there was such a good character there. She, you know, she showed real range of emotion. And I think my view of her is a little biased because I came down off of, you know, the high of, you know, killing Clara. It's like, yes, new companion. This is great. Because I hated Clara so much. And if I do actually ever have a chance to collaborate with Jamie again, then that's exactly what we're going to talk about and why Clara was the worst companion ever, potentially. At least in New Who. Because she's definitely beaten out Martha as my least favourite. Because Martha was originally my least favourite companion. And now it's definitely Clara. But yes, companion-wise, Bill was a step in the right direction because she was adventurous and she wasn't in there for the love or anything like that. She didn't love the Doctor. She just wanted to fuck around in space. And that was great. Anyway, I think I've actually talked way too much about Doctor Who for at least 3 months now. And now I've just got to, you know, edit this and hope that I haven't been clipping the audio the entire time. Because I'm just watching the meter on like the sort of how much it's monitoring the microphone. And it's consistently going into the red. So, you know, let's just hope I haven't fucked it up.